Oh, we're back to this, are we? Oh, that's just great, isn't it? Um, yeah. This didn't happen the past two rounds, but it's happened now. But don't worry, we'll be back into Tier 3 shortly. Alright, here we go. We're back. We're back. Alright. We kinda had to sort everything out, but luckily we are here, and well, why don't we get this underway? Welcome, everyone, to the Tier 3 Championship, and we've arrived to the one, the only Australian Grand Prix for round 3 of 17. And it can be a very interesting one here nonetheless. So, Australia, we've got 14 corners that make up this track, 3 DRS zones, one going into turn 1, the other one going into turn 3, and the other one going into turn 9. It used to be 16 corners, but the reason for that is for some recent track changes, which will go on board with the coach to discuss them. So, turn 1 has been widened out a little bit so you can take a lot more speed into that corner. Turn 2, relatively the same, blasting down the main straight. Now, turn 3, widened out. You can take a lot more speed through here as well. Turn 4, relatively normal here. Same with turn 5 and turn 6, respectively, which there's a yellow flag, but that has managed to clear out. Now turn 7, extremely quick. You can just lightly tap on the throttle, and then here is the biggest change of them all right here. Used to be a little bit of a braking zone from right to left, but instead it's just easily flat to the floor until we get to turn 9, in which it's quickly on the brakes, down to 6th, fast chicane, and that will easily settle that. That is relatively unchanged. Then I think one of the last change right here, heavy braking zone there, and therefore more of a passing opportunity. And then, actually, there's one more change right here, my mistake. This part of the track has also been widened out as well. Those are the main track changes that have happened for the Australian Grand Prix, but that is not going to change much in terms of action, as we will always get action here in Tier 3 tonight, which we definitely did last week. We saw a lot of craziness, to put it simply, in Tier 3 last week, where we saw Redeemer take the win in the Alfa Romeo. A bit of a surprise winner, I would say. But nonetheless, he took the win from Gary, in which Gary, he's gotten his second place of the season. And then Yortzer rounding out the podium with Echo, and Butters rounding out the top 5, respectively, as the coach is parked on the track. I believe he's just trying to get out of the way. No, we might have to be careful about that. So, currently leading the championship right now as we go through the championship order is currently this man in the Mercedes, that being Gary, at 5,000 with 36 points respectively. Doesn't have a win, but he does have 2 straight second places, as I said before, which boosts him up to 36 points. And just 7 behind him is going to be the AlphaTauri of One Underdog, as Gary goes into the pits and abandons his lap. And One Underdog, he won the season opener, and he has 29 points respectively, followed by Redeemer, who has 26 points after the win last week in Saudi Arabia. And then it's Echo in the other Mercedes, currently lining up in 4th ahead of Yortster. Then it's Butters in 6th, Shredder in 7th, Stig in 8th, Gert in 9th, and Nava in 10th, with Ryan Alcon and Rutski being the only other 2 drivers that have scored points here in Tier 3 tonight. But we can still definitely get some more point scorers. We could get some more podium winners. And just a straight-up winner in this race. We'll have to find out. Let's go over to the Teams Championship now, and currently leading it by quite a decent margin right now is Mercedes. So Mercedes currently holding the top spot as of right now with 58 points respectively, 24 points ahead of Alfa Romeo, which Alfa Romeo has 34 points. AlphaTauri with only 1 driver scoring the majority of their points, that being, of course, 1 underdog in that AlphaTauri respectively. Then that is 29 points for them. They currently sit 3rd. Alpine, 22 points for them. They've kind of been quiet, but they have picked up the points in every single race so far. Then again, there's only been 2 races, so I can't exactly say that. Then, in 5th, we have McLaren. So the Papaya team currently sitting in the top 5, just ahead of Red Bull. Red Bull having 12 points in their season so far. Then it's Haas in 7th with 6 points. Aston Martin with 2. Williams and Ferrari being the only 2 teams that have yet to score a point. But that can definitely happen here tonight as Butters. Oh, he's been disqualified for going the wrong way. Where's that? Oh, that is at the final corner, and Redeemer just had to check up a little bit. That's Butters out of qualifying, and he will start last. So already a bit of an upset there for the McLaren, but we'll see what he can do in the race itself. Go over to the chat here, because since I'm kind of alone. I don't know if did I introduce myself? I don't think I did. Anyways, my name is Miniko, and, well, as I said, nobody is alongside me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get anybody in here. I tried to get a co-com, but unfortunately that isn't the case, so I'm kind of here alone for the time being. And Bad Bun saying, let's go Echo. And yeah, let's see what Echo can do in the Mercedes. He's currently 5th at the moment, so he's kind of in a decent position with a 119.6. Right now, top of the session being Stig with a 118.9 in the Red Bull. Stig is going to want to probably jump up from what happened last week. He DNF'd last week in Saudi Arabia, and that's not what he wanted, considering the fact that it looked like he had quite some decent pace there, but unfortunately it just didn't exactly translate. But well, that's what happens when it comes to the race. You need to be consistent. That didn't quite happen. And hi, Cold Carnival. Nice to see you here in the chat. And oh, Echo is your Tekken student. Well, ain't that interesting? I don't really play Tekken, but that's actually pretty cool now I think about it. But nonetheless, yeah, he's still in P5 for the time being, and that is his one and only run, I believe. Let's go over to the next person that is going to be finishing a lap, I believe, is going to be the Ferrari ball guy. We get a yellow flag in Sector 1, though it looks like that's already cleared up, and it's not actually going to be ball guy. Though he is currently on a lap right now, and that is a yellow flag. I believe that's just a Williams getting out of the way in Sector 2, and yes, it is. So he's managed to keep it clear. Just looking over, who is potentially one to be on a lap time? Maybe a Raymond Killerak? No, he has invalidated, so he will not be able to improve on his lap time. One underdog, nope, he is invalidated as well. That's going to be a key here, by the way. You quickly mention that. The key to this track is obviously keeping it within the track limits, because this is a very, very fast track now. And with that, you are going to have to keep it within the white lines, because that's how, or the yellow lines, really. Yeah, yellow lines, I would say that. But that's going to be the key to this race, where if you can just limit your penalties, I think that might score you good. We'll just have to find out come the end of the race, and also come qualifying, as that's really going to decide the pecking order of this race. So we'll go over to the next person who's going to come across the line, which is going to be Bald Guy in the Ferrari. He goes up to P12, so not the best of lap times, so he's probably going to want to go again. He's got plenty of ERS to do so. Goes a bit wide, though, there at turn 1. He's managed to keep it valid, though, so fair enough. I believe Gary's currently on a lap time. Well, he is, but he has invalidated, so he's going to go again. And this time he is invalidated. That's a Haas getting out of the way there for the Mercedes. Just looking over who could potentially be one on a lap time. Maybe one of Days Freak. Well, yeah, he is on a lap time. His day's break, though. He's all the way in Sector 1. But we'll stay with the Williams here through the Melbourne Street Circuit. And, well, this track has become a little bit more, I guess, mesmerizing in a way with these track changes, because they could just fly by so quickly, and, well, something happens. There's a chance you might miss it. There's a slight chance. But, luckily, well, we'll just have to see what will happen in qualifying and in the race. As I said, Black's cheering on Gary and Echo, so we see a good Mercedes supporter there in the chat. So, well, first off, hello, Blacks, and yeah, let's see what Mercedes can do, as obviously they are the leading constructor in the Constructors' Championship right now, quite a decent ways away. Stig sets the fastest lap now with a 1:18.8, and that's the time everyone has to beat. Right now, Nava's the closest to that with a 1:19 flat. Days Freak is going to come across the line in the Williams. He's going to go up to P14, so not the best of lap times for the Williams. And, well, he's going to want to try to improve that. What about of Gary? Well, Gary goes up to 5th, so his first lap time finally being set. And Gary, the championship leader, has currently put himself on the 3rd row of the grid alongside his teammate in 6th, respectively. I believe that was Yortzer that just crossed the line. Yes, it is. The McLaren has just gone up to P2 now with a 1:19 flat, just narrowly beating Nava there. But so far, nobody else other than Stig able to get into the 18. Well, I say that. Gert comes in out of nowhere and sets a blistering lap time. It's a 1:18.5 for the Alfa Romeo, and now he is on provisional pole. Let's quickly go over to the last couple of pole sitters, in which the last pole sitter, I believe, was Rutsky in the Aston Martin. Obviously, Rutsky is not here tonight, which is unfortunate for him. But we'll see if Whiffy can possibly do anything in the Aston Martin right now. Whiffy, who hasn't shown it the past two races, well, he is here this time around, and he's currently lined up in 10th. So see what the Aston Martin can do. And the other pole sitter, well, is the man in 3rd, Yortster, who's actually a reserve, by the way. I had to double check myself on that. I had to be sure that he was a reserve, and, well, he is, and he's a pretty fast reserve, needless to say. But right now, he's currently lined up 3rd. But who can take the 3rd pole of the season is the question. We'll just have to find out in just a couple moments' time. Right now, I'm just going to go over to the next person to come across the line to set a flying lap. Unsure at the moment. I think it might be the Alpine of Shredder here. As well, he is 3/10 up, so yep, it is going to be the Alpine of Shredder. We'll see what he can do. As we already have an incident report for Tier 3. Okay! Lovely. And Cole Carnival, nice to see you cheering on Arabian Killer there. He's currently down in P13, but we'll see if he could possibly improve, possibly get into the top 10. But, we'll just have to wait. We have just over 4 minutes left of qualifying, and so far. And by the way, I'm getting reports of the weather here tonight, and we've got an interesting one. The start of the race, it's going to be wet. That's right. We are going to have the first wet race of the season here for Tier 3. And it's definitely going to provide something interesting, needless to say, because we don't know how these drivers are going to drive in the wet. As Shredder comes across the line, he's going to go up to P8 with a 1:19.7. So a very decent lap time for the Alpine there. So far, a lot of people are in the pits, actually, just looking at it. A lot of people into the pits. And I believe they're just getting ready to go on their final run. We shall see how that pans out. Right now, we're going to go on board with the Haas. Never mind, he's invalidated. Sorry, Nava. But we'll go on board with the Ferrari instead, and we'll just take a little bit of a listen here with the Ferrari as we're going to go on board and just see what he does around the Australian Grand Prix. So I'll be quiet. There you go. That was a lap of the Australian Grand Prix. Which was the first time I've really done that quietly. And Iceman put in a pretty good lap, needless to say. He put in a 1:18.8 there in the Ferrari. Now he is currently lined up third, so decent lap time there from the Ferrari, which he has been up there in qualifying, I believe. If I just look over if I can find his name here in the good old stats sheet. Yeah, his qualifying position average is 3.5. So, he's a good qualifier, but he's just had unfortunate moments in the race. But we'll see if he can possibly turn that around and grab his first points of the season. Meanwhile, we have a bunch of people on an out lap now. As I'm switching things, I don't mean to. There we go. We have a bunch of people on an out lap, as I said. So now everyone's going to try and sort out their final flying laps for this qualifying session, in which Yortster, I believe, is going to be one of the first to come across the line. Just looking over, unless Gary is potentially on a lap. No, he's invalidated, so it is going to be Yortster and the McLaren, and we'll see what he can do. I didn't see any sector time, so I have no idea what kind of lap time this McLaren is going to do. Now, obviously, the reserve driver, he has definitely been up there. He grabbed a podium last week. Let's not forget, and that boosted him up the standings. Where can Yortster go? He goes on to provisional pole. So good lap there from the McLaren, and he puts in a 1:15.5, just nearly beating, well, not nearly, narrowly beating, sorry. Narrowly beating Yortster there, but we'll see if anyone else could get and beat that lap time. I believe it's going to be the Williams of Ruben Killack to come across the line. No, he's not. He's not going to improve on his lap time. So we're just going to go over to the next person who's going to come across the line. That is going to be Bald Guy in the Ferrari. It's been a while since I've said Bald Guy in the Ferrari, but yep, he is in the Ferrari. One of the few reserves that we have here for Tier 3 tonight, but we'll see what he can do in that scarlet red Ferrari. Probably one of the best looking cars in the game. Doesn't improve. So he wasn't able to beat his lap time. Arabian Killerac's Gert's gonna come across the line. He goes on to provisional pole. Redeemer, his teammate, goes up to 5th. So good lap time there. Quick Tongue up to 7th. As I believe we're just waiting on Stig to come across the line. Can I catch him at the end? No, he actually didn't do a lap. That's the coach coming across the line. He will finish in P12. So that is his qualifying done. And unfortunately, outside the top 10. What about Whiffy in the Aston Martin? It's his, I guess you could say, his debut race here in the Aston Martin. Where can he go? P10. So he just beat Shredder. Gary puts in a really good lap. And Gary, the championship leader, up into 3rd place. But what about a one underdog? He's going to come across the line. Big improvement there. 1.7. Fastest Sector 3. And that will line up P6 there. For the AlphaTauri. Raymond Killer comes across the line. He will go into P13. I believe that's qualifying already done and dusted. So qualifying already seeming like it's flying by, unless, actually, is Ball Guy on a lap? It looks like he is. Is he going to be able to beat his lap time? Indeed he does. The Ball Guy improves up to P13. So good lap, alright lap time there from the Ferrari. But that's qualifying done and dusted, and it's Gert, the Alfa Romeo, who takes pole position here in Australia. They won last week. Well, they won qualifying this week. We'll see what the Alfa Romeos can do to challenge Mercedes. Yortster lines up on the front row, and then Gary lines up third. The top 3 separated by just over half a tenth. So top 3 very close here in qualifying tonight. Stig will line up in 4th in the Red Bull. Once again, another good qualifying performance there from the Red Bull. Then it's Iceman rounding out the top 5. I unfortunately just missed the rest of the qualifying order, so I'll go through that very quickly. Alright, here we go. So, as I said, it is Gert on pole position, just shy of 400ths faster than Yortster. Gary will line up in 3rd. Stig in 4th ahead of Iceman. One underdog will line up in 6th ahead of Redeemer, last week's race winner. Nava will line up in 8th ahead of Quick Tongue. The other Mercedes of Echo rounding out the top 10. Then it's Whiffy, Shredder, Bald Guy, Arabian Killerak, DeCoach, Daze Freak, Loud Balloon, and Butters. Butters unfortunately getting disqualified there. But 18 runners here in the Australian Grand Prix. And well, a wet start. Things can definitely change. Yep, and there it is. A little bit of rain here for the race tonight. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be the inter tire. So it's not full wets, but it's inters nonetheless. So we still have a bit of a dry line, which I think we will see quite evidently here in the race. Let's go over to the race director. Never mind, because I pressed B. My mistake. And there you go. So it is inter conditions here for qualifying tonight. 18 drivers once again doing really good in attendance for Tier 3, which we absolutely love to see. It's good to see these amount of drivers here tonight. And well, who knows what could happen here tonight? Could we get a bit of an upset? Could we get a bit of a surprise? Well, for Tier 3, I think a surprise is almost pretty much a guarantee. We'll just have to find out when the race gets underway. We've got 29 laps, by the way, of the Australian Grand Prix. So 29 pretty quick laps. I would say around like a 1 minute 23s, 22s maybe. We'll just have to find out. And we could potentially see a bit of a DRS train between, well, quite a few drivers, as DRS is really going to be crucial here for the Australian Grand Prix here tonight. So obviously we got 3 DRS zones, as I mentioned before. One into turn 1, one into turn 3, and the one going into turn 11 after the fast chicane. So we will just have to find out how this will go on and what kind of race we are in store for. Right now we're just waiting for the drivers to finalize their setups. May take a bit, but we shall see. And some of the drivers saying in the Breakout Racing League Discord that, well, they don't like this rain. They simply do not like it. By the way, if you guys ever want to join the Breakout Racing League, be sure to join in on the Discord, in which I shall try to, if I'm able to, provide in the chat. And, I was just about able to, so there you go. So if you guys want to join the Breakout Racing League, so be sure to click that link and join our Discord. And maybe give us a bit of a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Once again, Breakout Racing League for all 3 of those respectively. Right now, we're getting underway for what can be an enthralling Australian Grand Prix. Once again, here in the wet. So we got the formation lap to go through first, in which Stig has already pretty much jumped the queue. I think the Rebel wants to get a bit of a move on. But once again, it is Gert on pole position. Yordstar lining up on the front row. Gary, the championship leader, lines up third ahead of Stig. Iceman rounding out the top 5. One Underdog in 6th ahead of Redeemer. That's Nava in 8th. Quick Tongue, Echo rounding out the top 10. And then Whiffy on his debut race here for Tier 3. Not for BRL. He's been in BRL before, but it's his first race for Tier 3 this season. He'll line up 11th ahead of Shredder. That's Ball Guy in 13th ahead of Arabian Killerak. That's the coach in P15 ahead of Daze Freak. Loud Balloon will line up in P17. And Butters will round out the 18 drivers, as I mentioned before. And Slay Rocker, well, first off, hi, good to see you in the chat. And Choke Balloon. Interesting name. But, you know, I would assume you guys know each other. So I will leave it at that. Yeah, it should be Well, I should say, oh, that's already Gert crashing into the wall in the formation lap. Luckily for him, there is no damage on the formation lap. So he can get away with that. But yeah, just trying to warm up his tires and it's not going well. So now it's Yortster that will line up on the grid first ahead of all these drivers, unless Gert can possibly climb his way back through, in which, is he trying to do so? Nope, doesn't look like it. So, scratch that. So, yeah, it is going to be Yortster that'll line up on the grid first, but it is going to be Gert on pole position. Don't worry. He will not compromise his grid start from spinning like that. As we shall see who gets disqualified. That's the main thing, because obviously you can line up on the grid yourself now. And Iceman and Stig finding that out and not entirely succeeding in that. Same with Redeemer as well. So we've already got 3 disqualifications. Make that 4 as Echo disqualifies himself. Luckily, it doesn't disqualify them from the race. It's just a matter of qualifying as we wait for all the drivers to line up on the grid. Can I get a good angle, please? Okay, I didn't see start lights, but his lights out, and away we go. And alright, that's an AlphaTauri into the wall there. I believe that might have been Quick Tongue there. Stig has not moved off the grid, but it is Gert that leads them off the line from Gary. Gary with a pretty good start. Same with Iceman. What's happened to Yortster? He's fallen down. He's all the way down to 4th. Same with Nava. And one Underdog has managed to get ahead. Let's look over to what's going on there. Underdog trying to go around the outside of the McLaren, and he's managed to do so. So already a bit of a crazy start there. I'm not sure what's happened to Stig, if I'm being honest, but so far everyone managing to keep it clean so far. So far as we have a bit of action going down further back, now going through the first sector, and Gert pulling a bit of a gap there between himself and Gary. And look at one Underdog; he is all over the back there of the Ferrari of Iceman. Can he possibly look for the move as Bald Guy goes for the move on Redeemer? Redeemer's actually fallen back quite a bit on Underdog, not able to make a move there into the fast chicane as of yet, and he's actually fallen back a little bit as a result of it and could be under pressure there from one Underdog behind. But Gert pulling a bit of a gap there. Let's look over. Shredder is looking for a move potentially on Redeemer, trying to go around the outside. Redeemer just cuts him off there, so he doesn't exactly leave the spaces. Loud Balloon and Echo going at it. Loud Balloon going off the track there as a result of it. Echo now is actually going to seize opportunity getting past Nava. Nava actually has damage. Nava has damage on that car, so he could potentially pit in this race, as we have a lot of action going on for the back, as well as the coach, Redeemer, and Shredder going at it. The coach losing out as a result of it, and that is going to fall him down to P10. We've already got 2 drivers into the pits, that being Nava and Quick Tongue. But for the most part, everyone keeping it pretty clean. Needless to say, still confused on what happened to Stig, but nonetheless, everyone keeping it clean, and it's Gert that's still leading from Gary, from Iceman, from one Underdog, from Yortster. That's your top 5, and they're already pulling a bit of a gap. And I'm just trying to see what's going on with Stig. He got disqualified before the race even started. I'm just genuinely confused by that. Gary, by the way, he is closing in onto the back of Gert right now, as we actually have a yellow flag. What's happened there? Shredder's had a moment at the fast section. Tires just not gripping up, potentially. That could have been the case, as he is running. That's Iceman out of the race. That is Iceman out of the race, and that's Gert out of the race. Gert's crashed. What's happened? What is happening? Gert's car is moving. What has happened to the Alfa Romeo? That's 2 drivers that have retired. Hello? What is happening? Oh, well, there we go. That's what's up. I figured out the culprit. We have a lobby restart. So that's what's happened. We are going to have a lobby restart. So with that, we're now going to have to join a new lobby. And, well, I think Stig will breathe a sigh of relief, as he will be able to race this time around, because he got disqualified. But, yeah, bit of an interesting case there. The first lobby restart, I believe, of the season. Hopefully that won't hopefully that won't be a reoccurring theme. So nobody wants to see that. No one wants to see more and more lobby restarts, but yeah. Nonetheless, though, that was an interesting start of the race. We'll see what happens in the second start. But yeah, bit of an interesting one, needless to say. F1 News, by the way, lying a little bit, saying it's time for qualifying. It's not. It's actually time for the race. So just waiting for the lobby to reopen. You like my McLaren, by the way? I know that's a little random. But yeah, it's just a good old McLaren 720S. Lagged out of the session. Yeah. The button butter saying that's not fair to people who lagged out, and I'd have to agree. We did have a couple of lag outs, I believe, and that kind of screwed them. Just waiting to see if the lobby will be up. Oh, I think the lobby is up. Hang on a minute. Oh, nope, that's not it. Nope. Oh, there we go. It's got the invite to the new lobby. Alright, here we go. Here's the new lobby. We're just gonna wait for all of our drivers to join us. That's it. It's gonna let me spectate. Oh, there we go. I'm spectating. There we go. So, we're not gonna restart qualifying, by the way. I just want to quickly mention that the qualifying will not go underway, as we've already done that. The qualifying was officially over. So with that, our good old Tier 3 coordinator, that being Redeemer, of course, and obviously Gert as well, because Gert is the lobby host. They'll help each other and help set up the grid here for tonight. And, well, we should have the same grid as we did before. So, Gert, of course, will be on pole position for the Australian Grand Prix, and I believe, I can remember, everything just kind of happened so quickly. I believe it was Yordster on the front row. Yes, Yordster on the front row. Gary lined up third, ahead of Stig, and then Iceman fifth, One Underdog sixth, Redeemer seventh, I think. I don't know why I'm trying to think of this. I'm pretty sure someone has posted the grid. Nope, never mind. I was wrong. Yes, Redeemer, I am solo. Butters has just added me as a friend. Hello, Butters. I'll friend you back. So I might actually be getting my COCOM here. I'm not sure. Oops. There we go. I've turned it down a little bit, see if that will help. At least, well, not... There. Apparently the game was picking up in my mic from the TV, but I just turned down my TV, but I didn't turn down the game audio, so hopefully that should fix the issue. As we're just waiting for, I believe, 2 more drivers to join us. Trying to see who that is. Let's go over. I believe we are missing a Williams. Yep, that being Dave's Freak. I think we are missing a Haas, that being of Nava. Yeah, those are the 2 drivers that we're missing. Once we get those 2 drivers, then we'll quickly be underway. When's the crash gate? Well, I would hope not to see any crash gate. But if that is the case, then oh boy. But I highly doubt that'll happen. I mean, I guess you could say that the game crashed, but technically not. Oh. I'm receiving word that the rain might have been actually all race. So the rain is actually going to be an all race thing. Oh boy. I thought it was only going to be for the first couple of laps, but I guess I'm wrong on that. Alright, well, we're in for an even more interesting Grand Prix. Just waiting for the good to go for the Australian Grand Prix here tonight. I still don't have a Cocom, by the way. It's a bit sad, but here we are. Let's see, what kind of car? It's a nice Aston Martin there. From the back. You know I'm bored when. I'm just waiting for this to get underway. Hey, there's me. Why am I obsessing over this? Anyways, I think we were just given the good to go. Maybe. Nava saying that in the Discord that, well, thanks for having a real host. Well, our previous host was a real host, but it's just had some issues. All our hosts are real. They're real people. So far, nobody's readied up. So, hello? What is going on here? Get a ghost host with the most to boast. Context, please. I don't have a brain right now, so not sure what if that's a reference or anything. If that is, then sorry that I missed it. A wild Gary has now appeared. Hello, Gary. I know you're waiting patiently here for this race to get underway, and well, I think we all are. Server is lagging, is what I'm hearing. server is lagging. Is what we're all getting here. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh! Hello? Hello? It says they're in the race, but they're... Wait, what? Huh? Okay, we might be having technical difficulties here. I'm not sure what's going on. I think we might have to do another lobby restart. I'm not sure what the issue is here. Yeah, okay, there's another lobby in the making. Being told that everyone has to restart their game. I think that might be what we have to do. So, we'll be back eventually as I'm going to restart my game. Okay. Should have everything going now. I guess when I just reloaded the game that it just simply crashed. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. But, yeah. I guess this game still has its multitude of issues, and this is another one. So, yeah. F122, everybody. Speaking of F1, by the way, I don't know if you guys, yeah, third time's the charm. Yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed. But I know this has been a rising topic as of recently, but the F1 Manager game has come out, I believe, yesterday. So I played that a little bit. I played a little bit yesterday. I had played a little bit today, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed about how that game is. I think it's pretty good, in my honest opinion. Obviously, it's not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. But, you know, I still think that it is a pretty decent game, in my opinion. So if you guys want to maybe share what your opinions are on the game. Crashgate every race for the win. Yes. I mean, I don't think they'd allow that in the actual game, but and nonetheless, it's good to see that you enjoy the game as well. And yeah, I was hearing some bad stuff at first, but once the game came out, obviously there have been a couple of issues, but you know, no game is ever perfect. Like literally no game. If you can find a game that's perfect, then tell me, and I shall factor that. Does that actually let you Crashgate? I need video evidence. I need video evidence of this Crashgate. If it actually lets you, then that is just the best thing I've seen. I need to know. I actually genuinely need to know now. The lobby looks better now. I was able to get in the spectator pretty much immediately. We're just waiting on 7 drivers, and of course, for for them to get into their respective cars and, of course, set up the grid. Also, a bit of a curious question about the F1 Manager game that we're on it. Perfect Game, SpongeBob, SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom, OG, and Rehydrated. I don't know if that's opinionated or facts, but yeah. I've definitely seen gameplay of that, and it's yeah. I'll leave it at the name of the game. But anyways, going back to what I was gonna ask before is I mean, if it's facts, then yeah, sure. you say that, but anyways, go back over to my question that I was about to ask. It was about the F1 Manager game. Is what car did you guys go for at the start of the game? Is my question. Personally, I went with McLaren, McLaren is one of my favorite teams in real life. And, well, I know they've been struggling a little bit this season, but, you know, they still got something. But, yeah, I had to go with McLaren. Things didn't start off exactly well, though, with Ricardo. Ricardo got into Q2 in the first race of the season. And Norris spun before starting his second lap. He spun on his out lap. And that kind of cost him. He's lost so much time in Sector 2 to the point where he was knocked out in Q1. So, yeah. Not the best of starts, but I'll have the race done by the time this race ends. It's just a matter of when it ends. And if it ends, well, don't want me sitting here forever, but yeah. But that's how my career mode is going. Hopefully I can get some points, but we'll just have to see. And Labloon, you saying that you choose the Haas. I've seen a couple people that have chosen the Haas, and, well, I can't exactly blame them, because obviously they are in a little bit of an uprise, so it's good to see that a lot of people are choosing Haas, and, well, Haas is kind of like that one team that almost has no haters, which is pretty amusing. You know you had to give Seb another championship? I think everybody wants to do that. I think everybody wants to give Vettel another championship. That fifth one. But, well, we all know that it probably won't happen this season. And sad to see Sebastian Vettel, of course, leave at the end of the 2022 season. Obviously, he's had a great career. 4 championships, 53 wins. I don't remember how many pole positions, but still quite a decent amount there as well. But, yeah, he's had an illustrious career. 9 wins in a row. So, yeah, that just says it all. 9 wins in a row. I remember saying something earlier, by the way, of Vettel, where in the 2013 season, he scored more points than Mercedes did. Mercedes scored like 390 something, I don't know, for their Constructors' Championship total. Vettel had like 397 points. So Vettel could have won the Constructors' Championship on his own. Yeah. Vettel in his prime was scary. He was very scary. But nonetheless, he's not going to be here at the end of this season. But Alonso will take his place, which honestly kind of surprised me. You were saying Haas because of America? Well, for someone that is in a North American league, I could completely understand that. So, fair enough. You like being with the American team because it's obviously the pride. I can understand that. I'm not American, so I can't exactly relate. Well, I mean, I still can relate because, you know, Canadians can have pride. But yeah. And we're about to get underway. Finally. And we're back from the loading screen of a sunny Australian Grand Prix to a pretty damp Australian Grand Prix. We're back in this session once again. It took long enough. It's almost been an hour since this stream has started, which is pretty crazy if we really think about it. Let's look over at the grid once again, as I've already technically done that as I've been talking. But anyways, so going back over to the qualifying order, it is Gert on pole position in the Alfa Romeo, taking that by just under 400 ahead of Yortster. And then Gary rounding out the top three. Top three separated by less than a tenth. So very close between all three of those drivers. It's Stig currently lining up in fourth in the Red Bull, ahead of Iceman in the Ferrari. Underdog will line up in 6th, ahead of Redeemer. Then you got Nava in 8th, Quick Tongue in 9th, Echo rounding out the top 10. And then outside the top 10, we've got Whiffy in the Aston Martin, ahead of Shredder. That's Bald Guy in the Ferrari, ahead of Arabian Killerak. To Coach, Days Freak, Loud Balloon, Butters will round out the 18 drivers we have here for Tier 3. Quick Tongue's already left the session. That's not good at all. Let's see if I could potentially try and get him back as we are waiting for the drivers to load up. And there we go. So now we just have to wait for the drivers to finalize their strategy. And, well, whose strategy is going to work out the best? If there's one thing for sure, is that people are going to be able to set up get their setups finalized, because obviously they are now running wet setups due to the damp conditions that we have here tonight. I'm having a lot of issues. I'm not sure what's happening. I think Quick Tongue was the only one who left the session. So it's only one driver that we're missing right now. Hopefully we can get him sorted by the time we get this race underway. If we get the race underway at this point. It's gonna be a bit of a wait. We'll put it simply. There's one thing I hope that probably won't happen in this race, but if there's one thing I still hope won't happen, is the I already forgot. No, okay, I remember the F1 2016 incident between Alonso and Esteban Gutierrez. For anyone that doesn't remember that, Alonso tried to, I think, look for a move on the outside of Gutierrez into turn 3, and Gutierrez just kind of moved a little bit, and that caused Alonso to hit the back of the Haas, in which, in turn, Alonso went straight to the wall on the left-hand side, basically barrel rolled through the gravel at the exit of turn 3. And, yeah, he was upside down by the end of that. But luckily, Alonso was okay. I mean, he was good thing. He was good to go. But, yeah, it was still a scary incident nonetheless. For those waiting patiently, I know it's a little bit of a long wait. Well, I'm right here with you. I kind of have to go through this as well, so yeah. It happens from time to time. But hopefully things get sorted really quickly, because I'm starting... Yeah, starting to run out of topics here, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. We started the 18-minute qualifying session an hour ago now. Yeah, Gary, you're very much correct on that. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. It's giving me... You know what this is giving me? This is giving me sort of the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix vibes, in a way, theoretically, because obviously that was kind of washed out, but we had to wait a long time for that. But it looks like we're not going to be waiting that much longer, though, because we are back, because the timer is now officially up. For those that are still watching, thank you for your patience. I know that the waiting game was a very long wait, but we should be getting underway in just a moment's time, which we are about to get underway right here, right now, and we are going to start the formation lap. I can see the lights this time around, so that is very lovely. So, once again, we shall go through what we have here for this race tonight, what is on the line, really, for this. So, leading the championship right now is the man currently sitting in third place right now, that being of Gary in the Mercedes, once again going for that Tier 3 title once again. Yordster is a reserve for, no, wait, I was going through the championship. What am I doing? Actually, no, I think Yordster's still second, isn't he? No, it's one underdog in second, sorry. My brain is a little bit fried at the moment, but it's one underdog lined up in second place in the championship. He's currently sixth right now on the grid. He's 7 points behind Gary coming into this race, so he's going to want to potentially... Well, he's going to want to outscore Gary if he wants to take back the championship lead. Then it's going to be Redeemer in third, just 3 points behind one underdog. Echo in fourth with 22 points. Yordster, 21 points for him. He currently lines up in fifth. It's Butters in sixth. Shredder in seventh. Stig in eighth. Gert in ninth. And Nava rounding out the top 10. Ryan Alcon and Rutsky being the only two drivers to have points in this season. But it's only the second race of the season, so it can definitely change. And right now, with Iceman obviously being in fifth, he has a decent shot at points, but so does everyone around him. Everyone has a good chance of points. It's just a matter of who is going to be able to capitalize here. 29 laps here for the Australian Grand Prix. The long wait is officially over once everyone lines up on the grid. Quick tongue. Oh, never mind, he's back. I was about to invite him back, but he is here, and Stig's already disqualified himself, so he's already returning to old ways. I'm kidding, never mind. Remy Killerak and Ball Guy also disqualifying themselves from the qualifying order, as we are waiting for, I believe, that is just the Aston Martin of Whiffy to line up on the grid for the Australian Grand Prix. The far red lights are on once again for the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. Looks like a pretty decent start there for the Alfa Romeo of Gert, though Yordster's going to try and get close to him, but it's actually got a poor start in relation to the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo is clear by the time they manage to make it turn one. Gary trying to go around the outside of the McLaren. He's about to get it done. A little bit of contact there between Sting and Iceman, but it looks like they managed to keep it together so far, and that's actually the Ferrari into the wall. So scratch that. Iceman into the wall, and that's absolutely ruined him. The coach is spun round, and Yordster losing positions at the start. Same as Stig, and that is already a virtual safety car. That's already a virtual safety car at the start of this race. Let's look over the damages. So far, it doesn't look like the coach has any damage. Looking over, he's missing a end plate there. Is the Red Bull, and Iceman missing his entire front wing, obviously having a collision with the wall there. I'm not sure what's happened. We'll have to have a look after this race, but that's not what he wanted. Oh, and actually, Raymond Killerak doesn't have a front wing either. So both Williams in the wars. I mean, there's one Williams, actually. As the race is officially resumed, And let's look over at the race leaders, and Gert is actually going to be under pressure here from Gary. Gary got a really good restart there at the end of the virtual safety car. He's going to try to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Late braking there for the for Gert, though. It looks like he's going to be able to get the move done. Indeed, he does. So Gert able to hold position for now. Gary's still trying to challenge. He has a little bit of a look, but it's not going to be enough. So he's going to have to stay behind for the time being. And it's Stig in 30s, close behind that Mercedes right now. Yortster in 4th, ahead of one underdog, Redeemer, Echo, Nava, Shredder, Quick Tongue rounding out the top 10 as Gary's squirming around. He's not having a good time there in the Mercedes. That rear end just kind of slipping from him as Stig potentially looking for a move. He's going to go for the move, not quite. He's going to have to stay behind as Gert will lead the first lap here in Australia as we have Iceman and Raven Kellogg into bits. Here goes Stig, possibly going for a move into turn 3. Going to go around the outside of the Mercedes. Is going to have to challenge it. And I think with that inside line, Gary's going to be able to stay ahead. Meanwhile, for the back, one underdog has made the move on Yortster, and one underdog has managed to move himself up into 4th position. So he's had a pretty decent start there. And the AlphaTauri is now going to try and chase after Stig. So we actually got 3 people into the pits, that being Iceman, Arabian Clearac, and the coach in this race. And their race has pretty much been compromised unless they get a safety car. Here comes Gary, though. He is gaining a little bit on Gert here on the straight. Obviously, no DRS because the rain is here. So that's not allowed. Not able to make a move yet. Meanwhile, further back, Shredder potentially looking for a move on Nava. Nope. Simply stays behind, does the Alpine. So far, despite the virtual safety car, everyone just kind of keeping it easy. Oh, I just completely missed that. That was Shredder going off, and he nearly loses the rear again. So Shredder already having a bit of a difficult time as he's all the way down to P10. He still managed to keep it out of the wall. I don't think he has any damage either, so the Alpine has managed to get away with that rather quickly. But that was rather compromised him as he was all over the back there of Nava as we have a yellow flag. I'm not sure who's that for as Echo managed to get past Redeemer there. I'm not sure what's happened there, but I think Echo just managed to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo there as Gert will lead once again from Gary, from Stig, one underdog, Yortster rounding out the top 5. I think Redeemer might be struggling a little bit here as Nava is now closing in on the Alfa Romeo for good measure. Is the Haas going to go for a move into turn 3? He has a little bit of a look. He is going to go for it. That's a late send there from the Haas. And it hasn't worked out, but luckily no damage to either one of them, so he'll have to stay behind for now. But that was a bit of a bold dive there from the Haas, and it just hasn't worked out, to put it simply. Redeemer, it's time to fall back from Echo behind. We'll go over to the battle for the lead, though, and that's actually Whiffy out of the race. That's Whiffy out of the race. And that is going to be another virtual safety car, as we're going to have a look on the on board with the Williams. He's just looped it. He's just simply looped it. And that is his race done. And that's not the start he wanted to his season. That is the first retirement of this race. Luckily, it's only a virtual safety car for most of these drivers, and I think they're going to look at that with a sigh of relief. But Whiffy just unfortunately losing the rear, the looks of it. And, well, it has absolutely cost him. As we are now under the virtual safety car. And what was quite an interesting start to this race. Let's look over to position changes real quick. So Gert managing to hold position, same with but Gary, Stig moving up 1 position, Underdog up 2. So Underdog has made up some pretty good positions in this race. Yortster down 3, so he's not entirely had the best of starts. That's Echo up 4, so he's had a good start as well. Redeemer, Nava, Quick Tongue not moving any position, so they stayed 7th, 8th, and 9th, respectively. Shredder up 2, same with Ball Guy. Loud Balloon up 5, same with Butters, so Butters having a pretty decent start. He's quite a ways off the pack, though. Days Freak up 2, Iceman down 10. Once again, just not a good start there for the Ferrari. The coach down 1, Arabian Clearac down 3, as Gary's all over the back here, as this race is now resumed. And no drive-thrus by the looks of it, so that's good to see. And Gary was almost pushing Dirt at the end of that virtual safety car, as he is now potentially going to be under pressure here from Stig, as Stig has got a pretty decent launch there out of the fast chicane. He's on the back of the Mercedes. He's going to potentially look for a move into the heavy braking zone. No, he doesn't. He's going to simply stay behind. He's possibly thinking that might be a little bit too risky to make a move into that corner in these types of conditions, and rightfully so. But One Underdog is looking rather interested here. So One Underdog could potentially pounce if Stig doesn't pounce on Gary, though he is falling a little bit back from the Mercedes, respectively, though they're all falling back from Gert, as Gert has just pulled. He's just simply pulled, and he's set the fastest lap for good measure, but now Yordster quickly takes it. And, well, the top 5 are just kind of in a league of their own. It's Echo ahead of Redeemer, ahead of Nava, as Nava is close onto the back of the Alfa Romeo for good measures, as Stig is possibly looking for a move on Gary. Not quite, so he's just going to have to stay behind for the time being. This is the first time, really, that these drivers have been in interconditions on this track. Oh, and that's a bit of a moment there from the Red Bull. But this is a bit of a learning curve, you could say, as Stig is really struggling. Wow, that rear is really not working with him here, as he is just all over the track right now. And that could actually give leeway to Underdog here, as Underdog is close onto the back of Stig here. Look how much Gary is gaining on this straight. Gary gained a lot of time. I think Gert might have made a bit of a mistake there. It was the purple sector 2, and that's Shredder out of the race. Shredder out of the race. He's looped it in a similar fashion he did in the previous race. That is a full safety car. So, a safety car has now come out, and that is going to nullify all forms of racing. And now they're going to line up behind that safety car. I don't think anybody's going to pit. I think it might be genuinely too early, and I think the tires are just completely fine. We'll just have to see. Does anybody try and potentially go into the pits? Well, Gert has a little bit of a moment there. And Gary, no, it doesn't look like... Oh, Stig is going to the pits, actually. Stig opting to go into the pits in this race rather early there from the Red Bull. We'll see if that potentially pays off. Is anybody going to follow suit? Doesn't look like it. No, so I think Stig might be the only man to go into the pits. Just looking over. Underdog gets a... Oh! 3-second time penalty there for One Underdog. That's already the first penalty of this race, as Dave's Freak actually goes into the pits, as there's a bit of a moment there between Nava and Deemer there. Not sure what's going on there, but Nava looks to be ahead of Redeemer, I believe. Yep, so everything looks to be sorted now. But the race is now nullified. Everyone is going to line up behind the safety car, in which Gert has managed to do so behind the Aston Martin safety car for this race. Driver saying in real life, by the way, the Aston Martin safety car is at least like 5 seconds slower? I don't know. It was like 5 seconds slower, but I don't think that's the case in this game. I don't think anybody really notices, if I'm being perfectly honest. But everyone's going to line up behind the safety car. Stig and Dave's Freak being the only people to pit behind the safety car here. And they're now on a fresh set of inter-tire are the Red Bull and the Williams, respectively. And, well, they can catch up rather quickly. We should get racing resumed in just a moment's time. We'll have to see. Quick mention, by the way, just going to go over to what has been in recent news for Formula 1 in real life while we're watching Formula 1 here, well, for Tier 3 specifically. But we'll just quickly go over some of the news that has popped up for Formula 1. Obviously, we all know, well, if you haven't heard it, where have you been? Audi! They are going to be joining the grid for 2026, which is very exciting. I believe it's the first time ever that Audi have been on the grid for Formula 1, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, then please correct me, as I'm not entirely sure. Dave's Free going back into the pits, by the way. So we'll have to see what the Williams is doing. And Audi was already throwing a little bit of shade at Mercedes, saying that it'll be the first time in way over a decade that a engine supplier will be made in Germany. Obviously, Mercedes AMG, obviously they are a German brand, but their headquarters are based off in Brackley in the UK, so that's why Audi kind of said that, which is still kind of threw shade, nonetheless. Other news, of course, that being of McLaren. So, if you haven't heard this big news, Ricciardo set to be, as his contract has been terminated at the end of the season. He had 2023 as a McLaren seat, but now that is not the case. So at the end of the 2022 season, Ricciardo is no longer going to be in that McLaren. It's just a matter of where he will end up and where anyone else will end up, especially with the likes of Oscar Piastri waiting in the wings, maybe even an F2 driver Logan Sargent, maybe Felipe Drugovich could potentially get in the wings. There's also been talk of Mick Schumacher potentially going to Alpine. You never know. We don't know what's going to happen for driver contracts, but we can only just predict. That's exactly what we are doing. And, well, we'll just have to see how the silly season goes on. But right now, we're here to watch the Australian Grand Prix for Tier 3. But, of course, I would not be surprised if you guys are also watching the Belgian Grand Prix in real life at Spa-Francorchamps, which is going to be very exciting with a newly revamped track, by the way. If you guys don't know, obviously they had to make some changes due to how unsafe the track was, especially through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. And, well, they managed to change that, so it looks to be working, though it's only free practice. We'll just have to see come qualifying and the racing. We could have a pretty exciting grid, because obviously we got a lot of grid penalties for the Belgian Grand Prix. Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, Norris, Ocon, Schumacher, I believe, are the 6 that have grid penalties, and then we'll start for the back of the grid. So we're going to have a very exciting race, so we might have potentially have a battle between Sainz and Perez for the win, unless Verstappen just pulls a worldie and wins from, like, I don't know, 15th or 14th. Or maybe even Leclerc. You never know. But, yeah, we're set for an interesting Grand Prix nonetheless. Maybe even the Mercedes of Hamilton and Russell can get in the mix as well. We'll just have to see when it comes to Sunday. But, obviously, we're still on Friday. Maybe even Saturday for those in the UK, I think. I think it might be that time around. But, yeah. We're going to be set for something interesting. We're also going to be set for something interesting here tonight as well, as the safety car is now going to be in at the end of this lap. So, with that, it is Kurt's discretion as to when they will go. And he has to make sure he gets a good start if he wants to get away from the Mercedes behind him. So we have a little bit of switching between Iceman and Butters. Sorry, I just saw something a little bit funny. So we're just waiting on Gert to potentially go and restart this race. When is he going to go? And it looks like he has gone now. And he hasn't really called out the Mercedes there, so Gary's still tucked in behind the back of that Alfa Romeo. The race is now resumed as everyone's crossed the line, and Gert actually goes a little bit deep. He goes a little bit deep at turn 1, and that's going to give Gary a little bit of encouragement, nearly a bit of contact there between the two. Gary trying to go wheel to wheel there with the Alfa Romeo. He's going to size up a move into turn 3. He's going to have a look at Gert's going to give him the room. And Gert manages to stay ahead around the outside, so Gert will hold on to the lead of the Australian Grand Prix ahead of Gary, ahead of one underdog. And then Jordster Nava rounding out the top 5, but Gary still having potentially a little bit of a look on the Alfa Romeo, going aboard now with the Mercedes. He's right on the back of the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to potentially have a look around here? He's on that ERS button, cheeky little ERS button I can see. He is gaining. Isn't going to be enough, though, to potentially have a look into the fast chicane. No, not quite. Oh, but he has a little bit of a moment there at the chicane there, and that could potentially give a little bit of encouragement there for Underdog once again. So Underdog once again trying to pick up the pieces in this race. Meanwhile, for the back, we're going to look over to Stake. He's looking for a move on Quick Tongue on the inside into turn 10. He's managed to get that move, or actually no, turn 11, sorry. He's managed to get the move done. The Quick Tongue's actually going to fight it back, though. Quick Tongue manages to fight it back, and he managed to take P8 back once again So Stig is going to have to try once again to potentially look for that move. Oh, Stig, we know he has the pace. He definitely has the pace to be up there. It's just a matter of if he can get up there. He's just he's just close onto the back of Quick-Tongue here in this race. Is he going to have a look? He's thinking about it. He is going to go for it on the inside. Quick-Tongue, though, has managed to hold it around the outside. Looking like the outside is looking like the superior line around here. Raymond Killerak gets a 3-second time penalty. Gary once again closing in. Quick-Tongue has now officially been overtaken by Stig. And nothing he can do about that. Look at Underdog just trying to get ahead of Gary. Gary seems to be struggling a little bit here. Had to take a little bit of a breather there because it's obviously being a one-man team is not easy. I'll tell you guys that much. It's not easy. But nonetheless, though, so far everyone keeping it pretty clean now as we have a yellow flag, and that's Loud Balloon. That's Loud Balloon out of this race. And that's another full course safety car. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Okay, well, the safety car is out once again. And Loud Balloon, unfortunately, being the one, the man who had to suffer a DNF there, which is really unfortunate for the Haas. And, well, hopefully he'll do better next week. Who dives into the pits, though? Well, Gert's going to dive into the pits. Gary, though, he stays out. Same with Underdog, same with Yordster, same with Nava. Echo, Echo actually goes in. So Echo decided to go into the pits. Same with Gert. Same with Redeemer, Stig, Quick-Tongue, Bald Guy, Butters. Well, they're all going into the pits, and they're going to possibly try and go on to the end on a set of those new sets of inters. There's actually a front wing change there for Butters. That's not what he wants. Though there's one thing out of all this, theoretically, that could work out or not work out, is if people actually pit. Because the difference between dry running and wet running is in the wet, you don't have to pit. It's not regulated. Obviously, in the dry, you have to pit. You have to use two different sets of tires, so two different sets of compounds. But that's not a thing for wet, which is interesting. It's very interesting. But nonetheless, that is going to be the case. And, well, could that potentially benefit Gary? Could that benefit one Underdog? Could that benefit Yordster? Maybe even Nava, Iceman, Dakota, Arabian. They're definitely going to be under pressure, that's for sure, because Gert is on the back of him on a fresh set. Same with Echo. Echo is going to be giving pressure as well. Same with Redeemer, Stig, Ball Guy. All those guys are going to be giving pressure to the guys in front of them. So we're just going to have to see how this is going to pan out in this race. It's been a long night. But luckily we don't have another tier after this, so we'll still get interviews. I'll definitely try and still get interviews. But, yeah. Luckily for us, we do not have another tier after this. But, we do have Tier 1 and Tier 2 tomorrow. So be sure to tune into that, by the way. Starting with Tier 1 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then directly after, it is Tier 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we're going to go again next week, but this time it is going to be the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola for Round 4, starting with Realistic on Thursday, which will be at 8 p.m. And then, same time next week, we'll be here for Tier 3 for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But right now, we're still at the Australian Grand Prix, which has been quite an interesting race, needless to say. We've had some decent battles, needless to say. There's a bit of a controversy going on in the Tier 3 chat. I'm not sure what's going on. But, yeah. There's a lot of controversy going on. I'm hearing reports that someone's pushing someone under safety car? I guess. I don't know. Not sure what's happening. But, oh, well, that's going to be pretty much nullified, as the safety car will be in on this lap. So this time, it will be Gary that will be leading the pack. And we'll see what he does at this restart. Does he go late? Does he go early? How will Gary manage this? I'm just getting a good look at the track there, but not anymore. Oh, it looks like Gary's gone now? That is very early there. That is very early there for Gary. And it looks like it has worked out. Gary just absolutely bolting into the lead. And he has completely caught Underdog out, and it's paid off. It has simply paid off, as that's Iceman out of the race. Iceman out of the race. And it looks like he's crashed at the safety car restart. Not what would have happened, but Gary now leads 2.1 seconds. He's already pulled a massive gap between him and the car behind, that being Underdog. Meanwhile, we already got a bunch of battling going on. Gert and Echo making up good positions. It's Echo's looking for a move. Oh, that's not Echo, sorry. That's actually Gert. And that is actually it. Oh my gosh. Who is it? I can't tell. Okay, here we go. It's Arabian Killer that spun round. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm a little tired because of how long this has been. But nonetheless, though, race has resumed. Gary already pulling quite a massive gap to one Underdog trying to close it back now. Nava quite a ways behind Underdog right now as we're looking at this midfield battle right now. I guess you could say midfield. Between Gert, Echo, Stig. The battle for P6 going on as they're all on a fresh set of inter tires. So these guys are going to be the ones to watch out as Gert is closing in on the Red Bull coach here. Roscoe is saying that Gary pretty much left him for dead. I can't disagree with that at all, though. Underdog is slowly starting to close in on that Mercedes right now. So Underdog has pretty decent wet pace by the looks of it, which is definitely going to help him as Gary is going to come across the line. Does he set the fastest up? Indeed he does. So Underdog is going to quickly take it away. Yep, there you go. He is very much closing in on the back of these guys as Gert is looking for a move. So is Stig. Stig is looking for a move on Echo here. He's on the back of that Mercedes. He tried to overtake one Mercedes before. He's going to potentially have a look on the other Mercedes, but he's not going to be able to to make the move work. He extends the track a little bit there. And now Stig is going to get the exit. Echo got a little bit squirrely on the exit, and that's going to allow Stig to get ahead. Cuts off Echo as a result of it. And now Stig has moved up into P7, and Gert is still on the back of the coach as Raymond Killarak has retired in the pits, has his race done dusted. Gert going a little bit wide there. And that might be a track limit warning. But luckily no penalty for him nonetheless as Gert is now on the back of that Red Bull. He's a little bit of a Red Bull sandwich right now. He's now Alfa Romeo filling right now as he's potentially looking for a move onto coach. And it looks like he's going to get that move done. Though Sting is going to have a look on his teammate, and he's got that move done. Purple Sector 2 for good measure for the Red Bull. And now Sting is up into 6th. Gert is up into 5th. So with that, these drivers are really giving it everything to close in on those drivers in front of them, because who knows if they're going to pit. I suspect that they will. Stig having a little bit of a moment there. There's a good save there from the Red Bull as he's just trying to close in on the back of Gert right now in this race. Gert going a little bit deep though at turn 13, and that's not going to help him at all. As meanwhile Underdog closing in. Nava with the fastest lap of the race with a 130.4. That might be beaten though as Gert is absolutely flying. Nope, doesn't quite beat it, so they're going to try. Well, I think they might go for fastest lap here now. As Echo potentially looking for a move onto Coach here. He's going to potentially go for the switch back. And he's got a really good run, has the Mercedes. Is he going to be able to make a move, though, by the time they make it to turn 3? He's in the slipstream of the Red Bull. Nah, he's just not able to do anything of it. The coach positioning his car quite nicely there. Is able to stay ahead of the Mercedes for the time being. Echo just has to sit behind and stay in 8th for now. Though he is using pretty much all the track that he can to try and get a good exit to pass that Red Bull and go on board with the Mercedes. And that's actually going to allow him as the coach has a little bit of a moment there, and they're going wheel to wheel now down the straight. Echo, though, he's gonna manage to get ahead, and he is ahead. Echo will now move up in the 7th, the coach down to 8th, as Quick Tongue and Redeemer going at it further back. Redeemer just able to stay ahead, and Ball Guy's looking interested in that battle as well. So we got quite a bit of a battle going on right now between these drivers right now, as actually Ball Guy managed to get ahead of Quick Tongue. Quick Tongue might have had a bit of a moment there. He's going to possibly look for a move on the inside. Not quite. He had a little of a look, and that's actually the coach off the track. The coach has had a moment, and now he's off the track. Now he's fallen down all the way down to 12th. So the coach having a moment, possibly braking too deep or something. I don't know. But that has absolutely cost him. Doesn't look like to be any damage, though, for the Red Bull, so he's managed to escape that quite nicely. We're going to focus on this battle, by the way. And we're just going to keep on focusing on this battle for now, as the battle for the lead has kind of extended a little bit. Gary has extended his gap between him and one Underdog. Gap between them 1.6 in this race, as Underdog is not able to do anything to close in on that gap right now. Hopefully he can later on, as Quick Tongue is still on the back of that Ferrari. He's trying to look for a move, though. Let's not forget the Redeemer's in this fight as well. I think Redeemer actually had a little bit of a moment there, as Ball Guy, it has caught up quite a bit on that Alfa Romeo. They extended the track a little bit. Quick Tongue getting pretty decent traction there, you know. He got pretty decent traction. He is closing in on that Ferrari. Can he have a look? By the time they make it to the fast chicane, he's going to think about it. He is going to go for it. He's just that little bit too far back, though. So Quick Tongue potentially looking for a move. It's not gone his way. So he's going to have to stay behind for the time being. And he could potentially have a look for a move here in turn 11. No. Stays behind once again. And actually, wait, that's Ball Guy that's gone off. Ball Guy's gone off the track. He broke too deep. He's gone off. No damage, luckily for him. But that has absolutely ruined it. That's absolutely ruined it. He's now outside of the points. Butters is up into the top 10 now. Quick Tongue up to 9th. I'm not sure what happened there, but I guess just he made a bit of a mistake. And that's actually, whoa! That's Quick Tongue out of the race. That's Quick Tongue out. He's crashed. And that is another full course safety car. Looking over. Yeah, he's just simply lost the rear as the AlphaTauri. That is not what he wanted. And that is our 6th retirement of the race. With that, the full course safety car is out once again. Oh man, these safety cars. These safety cars. Well, the safety car is out once again. So, yeah, this is quite an interesting race, needless to say. And give myself a bit of a moment here. And the safety car is waiting for them at the exit of turn 2, by the way. And there goes Gary and Underdog into the pits, by the way. Same with Nava. So they're gonna use this safety car to their advantage, and they're gonna go on to a fresh set of enters. As there goes Gary, yeah, he's on a fresh set. Who's into the pits? Well, it looks like a bunch of people are going to the pits, except for Gert. Gert is gonna stay out. Obviously, he is on enters. So, he is on 7-lap old inters. So, he can go to the end. Gary is on the back of him now on fresh inters now. Underdog is behind him as well. Redeemer didn't pit, by the way. Redeemer didn't pit. He's now in 4th. And he could potentially go to the end. Same with Butters. Butters didn't pit either. He's in 5th now. So, they benefited from this. They think that they can still make it to the end no matter what. Same with Day 3. Day 3 didn't pit either. So, 3 drivers didn't pit in this, and it has benefited. It has benefited them in this, but yeah. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happened in this this race as well. We lost 6 drivers. Just to quickly say, we lost 6 drivers. Obviously, that being Quick Tongue, our latest retirement in this race, and then Arabian Killarak, Iceman, Babloon, Shredder, and Whiffy. It's been a long night. I think we can all agree on that. It's been a long night. I just wanted to play some F1 Manager. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I mean, granted, some of you can still play F1 Manager while you're watching this stream, so lucky you. But yeah, it's been very long. As we actually have a little bit of a moment there between Days Freak and Yordster there, and Days Freak staying behind. Yeah, okay, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Safety car should be in on this lap, by the way. So we will have at least 10 laps of racing. Granted, there aren't any more safety cars. But, yeah. I knew that we were in for an interesting race, but, yeah, this is, pretty long. If I had a COCOM, this would be nice, but, unfortunately, the COCOM that I tried to get and was just not able to make it. And, yeah. Hasn't worked out. I'm gonna need myself some food after this. As for what food? I don't know. So, let's look over at the position changes once again real quick while we're waiting on this. So far, the biggest gainer out of all this has been Butters. Butters, who started dead last, I want to quickly mention, is up to 5th. And, well, he could definitely go to the end. Safety car in this lap, by the way. Biggest loser who's still in this race. So far, a tie between Yordster and Stig, though they still have a chance to make it up. Days Freak up 8 positions, by the way. He started 16th. He's up into 8th. So he has managed to keep himself out of trouble. But there's only 2 drivers that are still in this race that's managed to hold position. That being Gert, who has held the lead of this race after everyone pitted, and Echo, who's actually, for some reason, swapping for the back with All Guy. I'm not sure what's going on there. Hello? Okay. Looks like everything was sorted there. I'm not sure what's up. Is the coach? Hello? I'm not sure what the coach is doing. He's just cut the corner. That's a very interesting... It's very interesting what just went on there. As Gert looks like he's going to get the race underway, and indeed he has. He hasn't really caught out Gary, though. Gary just staying nicely behind as the race is now resumed. 10 laps of racing. The coach is into the pits now. So Gert will lead them from Gary, from Underdog. One Underdog, though, he is on the back of that Mercedes, and Gary has a little bit of a moment there. He has a little bit of a moment. There's a yellow flag for the back. I'm not sure who that's for. Underdog potentially looking for a move. Not quite. He's just having to stay behind for the time being. Redeemer also staying behind in this battle as well. Meanwhile, further behind, Nava potentially looking for a move on Butters. It looks like he's just trying to find the grip necessary to make the move, and it looks like he's actually going to get it done as Butters goes a little bit deep. That's going to allow Nava to make the move. Butters tries to go around the outside. Doesn't necessarily have the grip to do so, though. Nava up into 5th, and now Butters could be under pressure here from his teammate as Yordster is having a look, and same with Stig. Stig is looking for a move on both of the McLarens. This is on the back of Butters now. He's gotten past Yordster. Is he going to look for a move? Not quite. He's definitely pushing Butters through these sets of corners. He gets a 3-second time penalty, though, so that's not going to help him. He's going to go for the move on the McLaren on the inside. Can he clear the McLaren by the time they reach the braking zone? Not quite, though. Just by going through the corner, Stig is ahead. Stig now takes P6. Butters down to P7. Yordster down to P8. Gert not really breaking away, though, at the lead of this race. Is not entirely broken away from Gary. And Gary hasn't really broken away from one underdog as Gary's going to look for the move. And he's going to make the move. By the time they make it to turn 1, it looks like he's cleared the Alfa Romeo, and indeed he has. Gary is now up into the lead of the Australian Grand Prix from Gert, from one underdog. Then comes Redeemer as underdog is now going to look for a move on the Alfa Romeo. The fresher enters against 9-lap bold enters. And underdog is going to get ahead of Gert. And underdog is now up into second place. Gary into the lead once again of a Grand Prix. And behind him being underdog, that's just like Bahrain all over again, but they're a lot closer this time around. And they're on equal pegging this time around. And they've absolutely dropped Gert. Gert is just not able to keep up with these drivers. And now this is the battle for the lead. Can underdog potentially have a look, though? Underdog does have that 3-second time penalty. Let's not forget. So that is really what's going to hurt him. Meanwhile, for the back, Nava looking for a move on Redeemer. He has the slipstream. He has the grip, but is he going to make the move? No, he doesn't. He's just going to have to stay behind. He's going to be under pressure, though, from Stig. And Stig is absolutely flying now. He is pushing. He's just giving it absolutely everything. As Nava's going to now look for the move. Now around the outside, Redeemer breaks late, trying to defend it, and Nava nearly going off the track. They still managed to keep it on the track, though. The Redeemer, though, has the inside. He's going to be able to keep the position. Stig, now potentially good for the move. Nava down the inside at the penultimate corner. Redeemer goes off the track as Stig is now looking for a move. There's contact. Redeemer's round. Spun round at the final corner. Redeemer fighting for 7th. Or no, fighting for 4th. Has now fallen down to 10th. Not what the Alfa Romeo wanted. All he's even out of the points for good measure. Last week's race winner, Redeemer, just tried to keep his nose clean, but unfortunately Nava just swiping across him there. And that has absolutely ruined his race. Still get points though. He's still P10. Meanwhile, back over to the battle for P4 as Gary is starting to break away now from one underdog. Stig is still trying to stay onto the back of Nava for P4 in this race, but Stig, remember, has that 3-second time penalty from cutting the chicane. That's not going to help him. Meanwhile, the two McLarens are going to have a little bit of a battle as Butters still manages to stay ahead of his teammate here, Yordster. Yordster, can you potentially have a look? Does he got a flag in Sector 2, but it looks like nothing's really happened. Unless I'm wrong. I'm not entirely sure. But Yordster unable to make the move on Butters now, but he is going to have the slipstream. He doesn't have DRS, of course, as DRS is not available. Not going to be able to make the move, though. By the time to make it to turn 11, he's going to have to stay behind. And, yep, how much it changes in a week for Redeemer. Yeah, race winner last week to now just trying to fight for points. He's actually gone off the track for good measure, I believe. And, yeah, not what the Alfa Romeo wanted. As Gert now sets the fastest lap, so Gert is starting to find pace once again. He's on the back of one underdog. Underdog is falling back now from Gary. Gary now just trying to control this lead now. Gert is now going to try and give pressure on one underdog ahead of him. So far, the closest battle is between them, but it's also between Nava and Stig. As that's actually Echo into the pits. Is that change of front wing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was a change of front wing or not, but Echo's race has been absolutely ruined by the looks of it. That is simply not what he would have wanted. Gert is now falling back from one underdog. Now one underdog is starting to close in on Gary once again. That could potentially get... Well, let's see if underdog can potentially close in. Stig falling a little bit back now from Nava here. Nava just able to stay ahead of that Red Bull as Stig actually extends the track a little bit there. A little bit cheeky. Just going all 4 wheels on the curb. We move. But, yeah, Stig just still trying to push that car. He's going to lose positions, though. He is going to lose positions because with that 3-second time penalty, he might fall all the way down to 8th in this race. As Butters is not too far behind. Same with Yordster. Same with Ball Guy. Ball Guy just kind of minding his race, to be honest. He is kind of in a world of his own. He is slowly starting to close in on the two McLarens ahead of him. As Yordster, is he potentially looking for a move? It's just a little bit too far back. Yordster knows he has the pace, but he's just not able to defend against his teammates. So the teammates they're clearly not they don't have team orders. To put it simply, they don't have team orders, so this is just a straight-up battle for P6 in this race, in which Butters holding on very nicely there. This will be a good result once again for the McLaren, as he has finished in the top 6, I believe, in the past 2 races, so he's going to be able to do that again. But that depends if he's able to hold off the McLaren his teammate. And Jortster is closing in on the back of Butters once again. We're going to go on board now with the McLaren. He is closing in. He is closing. He doesn't have DRS, of course. There's no DRS on this section, but there's no DRS in general, so completely nullified. No, Butters just able to stay ahead. He started pulling a little bit on that straight, so he has quite decent straight line speed there. Does the McLaren, and he's just simply staying ahead now. So I think Butters is just kind of controlling the pace. He knows what he needs to do. And, well, he's doing it quite nicely. As Gert is slowly closing in on one underdog once again. That's a battle for P3 happening as Nava's just a little bit too far back on these drivers to steal a podium place off of Gert. So we'll have to see how this pans out. Stig is trying to close in on the Alpha. Not Alpha? Sorry. No. The Haas. The Haas of Nava. As well, it's been quite a calm race, as we actually have a yellow flag, so screw the calm part. As there's a yellow flag there. It looks like the coach had a moment, but he's all good to go. Not sure what's happened to the Red Bull. It doesn't look like there's any damage, so he'll be okay and good to go. As meanwhile, that's actually Butters around! Oh no! That's a bit of commentator's curse. I am so sorry. Oh, I feel bad now. Oh, no, and he spun around again. Oh, Butters. From last on the grid, he's now lost his front wing and could potentially be out of the points here. That is not what the McLaren wanted. I feel so bad. That was a bit of commentator's curse at play. That's not what the McLaren wanted. Meanwhile, battle. We're going to focus back up to the front. Battle for P4 starting to heat up once again. Ooh! Good save there from Stig. He seems to be fighting the car a lot in this race. And, well, he's managed to keep it on the track, so fair play. As he actually goes a little bit deep there, and that's going to cost him a bunch of time. He was right on the back of Nava there. But unfortunately, he's lost a bunch of time. Underdog with the fastest lap of the race now with a 129.7. Let's look over at the fastest laps, in which the top 5 are the only ones in the 29s in this race. So there you have it. That's how close all these drivers are right now. They're all in the 29s right now. But we'll have to see if that changes. Maybe someone could dip at 28? It might be a bit too late for that. I don't know. We'll have to see. As Nava, Nava! Well, he screwed his chance, absolutely, of a podium. As he has now gone to 3-second time penalty. Stig's still fighting the car. Once again, Butters gets a 3-second time penalty. I think Butters is actually staying out there on the track without a front wing. Which is interesting. It's a very interesting call there. Look over the position changes. Gary up 2, underdog up 4, Gert down 3. Down 2. Sorry. Oh boy. Again. I'm just a wee bit tired. Just a little wee bit. But we're okay. We're still okay. Underdog trying to close in on Gary for the lead of this race, but might be just too little too late at this point unless Gary makes a mistake. And, well, Gary just seems to be minding his own. He just seems to be keeping it easy now. He knows that the pressure is... I wouldn't say the pressure isn't on. The pressure is still on. He still needs to keep it on the track. But he has a little bit of a buffer now. And with 3 laps to go, he just needs to hold it. He just simply needs to hold it. If he wants any chance of something, and that's a yellow flag. Is that a Butters? Yes, it is. And that is him out of the points. Ugh. Not what the McLaren wanted. He was running so well, was Butters. But it's just all gone away. It's just all gone away. He's still going to stay out on the track, though, without a front wing. So, fair play. Playing a little bit risky there, but yeah. Not a good day there from the McLaren. It was looking so well. It's just all unraveled. Taking a little bit of a breather there. Yeah, well, race has kind of calmed down a little bit, and, well, I think we're all okay with that, and, well, there is no chance of a safety car now. So that is definitely good. So there is no chance of a safety car now in this race. And Gary, he doesn't have a pole position, though he has been at the forefront in pretty much every single race. I mean, he's finished second in the past 2 races. And, well, he looks set to potentially do that again, but this time he might go one better. As long as he just takes it easy now for the rest of this race. No risk is needed. And, well, there isn't really much of a risk when there is nothing to risk. Unless he wants to go for fastest lap, but that might... But again, that is a risk. Reward over risk in this time around. I'm saying that word too many times. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. Okay. Yeah, so far the closest battle still is between Nava and Stig, and this is for position this time around. The Stig still just trying to keep the car on the track, first off. He's still trying to keep the car on the track now in this race. And, well, he is managing to do it. He is managing to hold on. But, yeah, it looks like that Red Bull is just really struggling. We actually are going to go on board now with the Red Bull, and you can just see he is sliding all over the place. It's almost like a little bit of Tokyo Drift as Butters and Coach are into the pits, both at the same time. So, something interesting there, but yeah, Stig's not able to make the moves. You can see how much he is just counter-steering every corner, but it's working. It's working, though. So, at the end of the day, it's not all bad. It is not all bad. And that slide. That slide. Wow. I don't know how he's keeping that car on the track. I genuinely don't. As we're now coming on to the final lap of this Australian Grand Prix. Gary does set the fastest lap of this race. So screw the risk part. He's trying to get everything he can. He wants to take maximum points here tonight. And while he is leading this race, all he needs to do is keep on the track for one final time. He will easily take the win here. It's been quite an interesting Australian Grand Prix, needless to say. We've had a lot of upsets. 6 upsets. 7. Just many upsets. And, well, who knows? Could something happen at the dying moments? I'm not sure. I am not entirely sure. But so far, everyone's just kind of keeping it easy now. Stig potentially, he's trying to close in on Nava here. But it doesn't look to be the case. It's just a little bit too far back. Gonna go over, though, from the battle for P4 back to the lead of this Grand Prix. And Gary, he pitted underneath 2 safety cars and was pretty much at the forefront every single time. He's taken the gamble, and the gamble has paid off well for him. And, well, Gary, he finished 2nd in Bahrain, 2nd in Saudi Arabia. Well, it's not going to be 2nd this time around. It's not going to be third time's the... It is going to be third time's the charm, as he's going to come across the line. Gary wins the Australian Grand Prix. Underdog will take 2nd place in this race. Gert from 1st will take 3rd and will take the last podium place. Nava will steal the fastest lap and will grab 4th, so decent result there for Haas. Stig will grab 5th. Yordster in 6th. Bald Guy will manage to grab P7, so decent result there for the Ferrari. Redeemer, that spin, he was fighting for 4th and it just didn't work out. He'll still come home, though, to take 8th. Days Freak will finish P9 in this race. I believe his first points of the season. So well done to Days Freak. He will take P9. Echo will come across the line to take the last podium place. An interesting race this was. And, well, congratulations, Gary. 3rd time's a charm. You have taken the Australian Grand Prix, and with that, he extends his lead in the championship to 14 points now between himself and one underdog. As well, he's pretty much the Mr. Consistent of this race. Oh, man. Tiring. Tiring was this race. Driver of the day goes to Butters, and I kind of have to agree with that. He may not have gotten points, but he was running such a great race. Unfortunately, that spin just didn't work out for him. There you have it. Our winner of the Australian Grand Prix. He's the only man to finish on the podium in every single race right now. And, well, he has done it once again. He takes the win here in the Australian Grand Prix. One underdog will take another podium. Just not able to make the move on Gary. And Gert, he may take a pole, but he'll still gladly take a podium place here at the Australian Grand Prix. It's been a wet one, but it's been a fun one. There you go. Gary will take the win here in Australia tonight. I shall invite the drivers here for their interviews. And I had to interview every single one of them. That's the first time in a long while, I believe. But there you go. Gert, sorry, Oi. Wow, English already failing me. Let's go. So, Gary will take the win here in Australia ahead of one underdog, Gert, rounding out the podium. That's Nava in 4th ahead of Stig. Yordster will finish in 6th ahead of Ball Guy. Redeemer 8th. Days Freak 9th. Echo rounding out the top 10. DeCoach and Butters unfortunately not able to grab a point here tonight. We lost Quick Tongue, Arabian Killerak, Iceman, Loud Balloon, Shredder, and Whiffy from the Australian Grand Prix. A very interesting Australian Grand Prix, and, well, probably the longest race I've done in the time I've been in Breakout Racing League. So, yeah, there we go. About time. And, well, the drivers are already here, so we're going to quickly get this underway. So, Gert, you managed to grab 3rd place here in this race, and also you grabbed your first pole as well, so well done to you on that. And, well, the race definitely was away at the safety cars, to put it simply, and unfortunately it just didn't exactly pay out for you. But nonetheless, though, you were still there, and you were still able to grab some good points for Alfa Romeo once again, and with that, you grabbed 3rd place. Tell us how your race was.
Yeah, I just try to keep it smooth and steady for the most part, and had a little bit of a slippy exit, and dropped 2 positions to Gary and Underdog, but no worries there. You know, I'll take it. It's still early in the season, so a lot of fun, and yeah, good points, so that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the probably the most you could ask for. Well, obviously you wanted to go for the win, but you know,
yeah, I know.
You still get a podium, so it's not all bad.
No,
it's not all bad.
No,
so
yeah,
it still works
it'll
out.
come. I think it'll come more sometime this season. I think I hopefully I'll get one. And but yeah, it's good, clean racing, fun, and yeah, it's still early in the season, but yeah, I'll maybe better luck next time.
Yeah, better luck next time, indeed. Speaking of which, next time out, next week, we go over to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Do you think he could put in the performances that he did Oh. Oh, he left. Oh, no. That kind of left me hanging there. Oh. That happened. Okay. Alright, with that, I guess we'll move on to 2nd place in this race. And, well, Underdog, once again, you proved your consistency, and you just proved why you're here. And, well, 2nd place here in the Australian Grand Prix in pretty tricky conditions, needless to say. You're pretty much there every single race, and you definitely had the pace, but unfortunately, Gary just had that little bit of just had a little bit more pace in comparison to you, but nonetheless, though, you still managed to grab P2 in this race. Tell us how it was.
Yeah, definitely not an easy race, because on this track during the rain, it's very hard to overtake. But give it up to Gary, man. We definitely raced hard. Just the consistency between both of us is like, we just had the pace. He was just dragging me. This is not an easy track for me, especially. I don't really like this track, but consistency is key on this track, though.
I think it was more of a key, especially considering the conditions that we were given. And, well, you definitely had that consistency to take second place, so well done to you. Next week, though, we go over to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for Imola. Do you think you can keep up this consistency and challenge for that top spot once again? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, a new track, new day, anything can happen. It can be a lot of surprises because it's not an easy track. Track limits is going to be key on that track.
It can definitely be the key. We'll just have to see in just a week's time. But nonetheless, congratulations to you on second place. And with that, we shall now move on to the winner of the Australian Grand Prix. And, well, I think I could safely say third time is the charm. You may have gotten second place in the past 2 races, but this time you managed to convert it, you kept it consistent, and you just had the pace all throughout. And you take the win here in Australia. Tell us how you feel, and, well, tell us how this championship has gone at the start.
Yeah, good, like you say, third time a charm. Just like, I can't stress what Underdog said. I mean, that was such a hard race. It was just an hour and a bit of just solid concentration. And like say, give it up to him just as much because, and even the other guys, do you know what I mean? Not just like obviously us because we were out in front just a bit, but give it up to everyone because Australia is not the greatest track for everyone. Obviously there was a lot of accidents, few safety cars. I was hoping the one that I had was going to be the last one because I tried to pull as much gap as I could on the early acceleration. But yeah, like I say, happy with the first, and yeah. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, we shall definitely move on. It was quite tricky out there, but, well, you managed to master it, and, well, the Australian Grand Prix is yours. Next week, we go over to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Do you think you could potentially go back-to-back, or do you think you'll face a bigger challenge there?
Like I say, you never know. There's some fast guys in the lobby. Some got caught up in the pack today. Obviously, a couple of us managed to spread our legs, and yeah, or stretch our legs, I should say, not spread our legs. Yeah.
Take that how you will.
100%. And yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one next week, that's for sure.
Well, like I say,
yeah,
consistency is
key.
If I can keep up this consistency, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely see you next week. And, well, once again, congratulations to you on your win. And once again, congratulations to Underdog and Gert on their podiums. That's going to be it for Tier 3 here and for BRL here tonight. But be sure to tune in tomorrow for Tier 1 and Tier 2, as I mentioned before, with Tier 1 at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Tier 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then next week, we go over to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, starting with Realistic on Thursday at 8. And then we are here once again, same time, same drivers, different track. The motivation still there. It's still early days, but we can still have another shift in the championship. We'll just have to find out in just a week's time. But once again, that is Minico. Off once again. See you tomorrow, and, well, have a good day.